Come on, hey guys, what's on this? TFT here, Robert. To my left, we've got Matt. So
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, don't say Saturday can't come quick enough. Hopefully, nothing don't get in between with COVID, but touch wood.
Yeah. Have you got your booster books and have you got your COVID pass to get in?
Yeah, I got everything. I'm fully prepared for it.
Excellent.
Uh,
And I think looking at messages from the club, the message is get there early,
yeah,
avoid the
yeah.
queues.
No, nah, look, some people turn up ban on 43.
Always, always
Yeah,
at 3.
yeah. How do you feel going into Saturday's game?
I'm feeling optimistic. I think yeah, we obviously we're still on the back of a great run since Chris Hughton left, and especially obviously since Stevie Cooper took over. I think we're all perhaps getting a little bit wondering whether the magic's wearing off a little bit with a bit of a run of draws and the Peterborough game. We didn't play our best, particularly first half of the Peterborough game, but second half Swansea was spectacular, wasn't it? I think the amount of times I've been to Swansea and seen us like barely have any of the ball and not score a goal is too many to mention. Going back to like League One times, so to come away 4-1 and Lyle Taylor to be skinning 2 players down the right wing and putting it in for Cafu to score his first goal in 3 years. It's just it feels good, but I think Hull are on a decent run of form as well. I think they've drawn the last couple, but I think they won 4 on the bounce before that. So I think although they're below us, they're a team on the up as well, and a team with confidence. I think so. I think it hopefully makes for a good game.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like spectacular for a neutral, to be fair. I mean, both teams in form. It's like, I mean, they're getting into that sort of draw mode at the minute as well. So
Yeah, and it's nice to see us, scoring a lot, like having a lot of chances and scoring a lot of goals. And I think we went through maybe 2 or 3 games where we weren't creating that many chances, didn't we? Where we're not having many shots on, like not making the keeper work enough, and it seemed to coincide with Max Lowe getting injured and sort of that bit of change of formation. And I remember I said, like saying to my old man in the Trent navigation after the games, for years I've always been a big fan of like 4-4-2 and 4 at the back, especially at championship level of football. But the change to 3 centre halves and 2 overlapping fullbacks or wing backs who are probably spending more of their time in the opposition half, and having things like Joe Worrell finding himself in the 6-yard box, for tap-ins and things like that, is the formations made a difference, but it feels like it's Spence and Max Lowe that have made the massive difference that has allowed everything else to happen and allowed the ball to move quicker from defence through midfield and to the forward players. So it felt like Max Lowe getting injured, and although Colback's sort of steady at fullback, he's clearly not the same sort of player, is he? He's not up and down, he's not tricky, and he's not pacey, he's not going to be there. And it seemed to affect other parts of the team. It seemed to affect, I think it was I can't remember who the first game was where Colback played left back. But we looked like players didn't quite know what they were doing, like who they're supposed to be marking or who was closing down who, and it seemed to disrupt more than just that bit of the pitch. So I think it's really good to see that it worked on Saturday, and it scored, we scored a lot of goals, created a lot of chances, and I guess again a big feather in the hat to Ryan Yates for playing in a first time in a new position. I think he's changed a lot of people's minds about his midfield role since Steve Cooper took over, and now he's showing he can be a bit of a some sort of like sweeper, ball playing central defender potentially as well, which would be amazing.
which is quite a nice swap because when you're in a game, and especially if, for instance, if you used up all your subs, you kind of always rely on Yates to do into a back three. So it's
Yeah,
a good thing to have in a way if someone can adapt to that straight away.
yeah, definitely. And I think, like I say, I was really unsure about Colback at fullback, but it worked very much worked the last game. It seemed like second half seemed to work second half against Peterborough, and you're right. It's good to be able to really like switch up and change the formation in the game, sometimes without making subs, and that's just got to give the manager so many more options, doesn't it? Like, it can completely change the formation and where people are and the routes that we attack through without having to make subs. And it seems like he feels quite happy to do that, like quickly, and is quite decisive on that as well, which I think is really good to see. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Let's just hope we can get through the next few days without any further COVID news that means we can't make it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I mean. It's nice to have Colback in that midfield and Tito coming back without getting any scratches, touch wood. They got through 90 minutes on Saturday, and
Yeah.
just having him back and having Colback in midfield. No disrespect to Ojeda, meant he's steady in, but just to have Colback in there made that difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And Colback's another one, isn't he? Where he was not performing how he thought he could. Like from his, it seems like a long time he's not performed like he could, and you sort of look at him and wonder maybe what's he bringing to the side, and again with with maybe if you had Colback and Yates, and their first thought seemed to be sometimes Colback would. It looked like he'd beat 3 or 4 players in order to get the ball back to Samba rather than go forward, and he'd like really battle and do well, but it'd just be to take the ball back. But there's definitely a shift of, like we've all seen it, a shift of mindset, and the players have talked about it. Like Yates talking about first thought being on the half turn and playing the ball forward, and I think Yates is he's an up and down player, isn't he? He's a box to box midfielder. That's where he made his name at County when he was on loan there, and he's like maybe I don't know, maybe a Stevie Hodge type, or maybe a Frank Lampard, arriving in the box late. If he could get his more headers on target, it'd be a bit more like Frank Lampard. But that's his real game, isn't it? Rather than holding and sitting. So yeah, it's good. But I think Hull have got, like I say, they're in a good run of form. They've got some players to watch out for. Like Honeyman seems to be scoring goals and creating goals for them quite a bit at the moment. So I think possibly the biggest danger for us on Saturday is taking them too lightly and thinking that they're below us and they're struggling, because they're definitely on an upturn in form as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've always said Honeyman that bit of a danger man anyway, because I think, especially with that Son to Our Dad documentary, he got something to prove as well, which, I mean, his first season he kind of, in and out, he got that's something more to prove. So he's probably still a danger man.
I think so. Yeah. I was looking at their squad and I thought, well, Eric Lehigh's not playing, so he's not going to come back and score against us, obviously. Although apparently he's at the game on Saturday in one of the areas, signing shirts and saying hello to fans and that sort of thing, and quite apt considering we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup again, and scored those 2 goals, and like the second one, watching it the other day, I still can't believe that like Eric Lehigh scored that volley where he was in the top corner. So I think like you say, it should be a good game, but they're definitely not to be taken lightly. And Honeyman's, I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I've always said it. I mean, I always said about being a typical away side is just putting 10-man ball, attack a little bit, then if you go 1 up, sit back against Forest. And not recently, a lot of away teams just be coming here and actually playing attacking football.
Yeah. And I think we want to see good games, don't we, with attacking football? And I think we've always said, going back to the 70s, that if teams come to attack, it suits us more than if teams are sitting back and we're trying to pick them open. And I think that's sometimes over the years that's been more true and less true. But I think it's probably more true at the moment, given the the pace in the side. And I think when we've seen like when we've played away and seen, I think we've seen the best out of Brennan Johnson when other teams have been attacking, and he can use his pace down the wing or straight down the middle. And yeah, again, like the turnaround from several months ago where we have no pace in the side, where's the pace? And now we've got bundles of it, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nice to see how different a manager makes to a fair from.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's always a debate, isn't it, when getting rid of or looking like getting rid of a manager, that a manager can't change things overnight, but seems to have done. And also credit to I can't remember who it was who took over for the Huddersfield game, but there's a marked change then, wasn't there, for the game before Steve Cooper took over. And I think it's just great to see him. I mean, obviously when you're winning, everything a manager does seems great, doesn't it? Whatever they say, whatever they do. But it's great, sort of the videos that see him. So we sit Lower Trent, and my eyesight's not great, so I can't always see the manager very well on the halfway line. But on the video, he looks like he's soaking in the atmosphere and enjoying Mull of Kintyre, and and we all love the fist bumps to the crowd afterwards when we've won, and he's just talk about embracing the history, embracing the heritage, and not being weighed down by it. And here we are, 3 months after he's took over, and we're 4 points off the playoffs. Which is interesting.
So much difference, and it proves how tough finishing the championship is. Like couple wins, or if you're going to run we have, he'd sit up there. But if you're going a bit of a bad one, he's down at bottom. So I think
definitely. Yeah, and I think if we could we've got a nice little run, haven't we? I think over the next few games, or on paper, a nice little run. But if we could, string a few more wins together, we could break into that top 6, and that would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It'd be nice to be in that top 6 for New Year.
Yeah. And our form wise, I think we're the best team over the last 15 games form wise. And if we carried on this form or improve this form, top 2 is potential, because we'd gain those points on those top teams that always have a little bit of a wobble, don't they? But we've been here before, haven't we? Have seen us like so many points. So we'll probably get stuffed the next 2 or 3 games and find ourselves 14th again.
Yeah, definitely. This game, I mean, we talked up about the formation earlier, saying that it's nice for us to go 4-2-3-1, or don't really feel about if we have to. I mean, how would you feel about going into this game with the formation? Would you keep that sort of?
I think I'd definitely go with the 2 fullbacks, and so with Spence and the guy from Arsenal, and I've been a big fan of the 3 centre halves, and then them pushing on. So I'd say keep that formation, and whether it's Ryan Yates in central defence, or I don't know if Toby's back, or what his injury situation's like. Because Joe Worrell was doing a great job of being sort of the one of that 3 that pushes forward, wasn't he? I like the formation. I think keep it. We it's good to see Brennan Johnson back on form again. I think his form had dipped a little bit, so that's great to see. I'm worried about. I mean, I like Zinkernagel's been in form as well recently, more in form recently, which is good, because I think I'm a bit worried about what our backups would be for those other 4 positions. Joe Lolly's just not. He's just still not there. He's still, a shadow of the player that we saw 2 or 3 seasons ago in my eyes.
He's injured anyway for the next 3 weeks.
Paddy's
Lolly done his knee, so he's out for a few weeks at least.
Right. Okay. And then there's like Alex Myson, I'm a big fan of, and I was surprised that he's going back to the Derby game. He was coming on and changing the games and affecting the games, and I've been surprised that he's not had more starts since then. Because he seems to have come on and affected games since then as well. But I think it's definitely an area. Well, there's lots of areas where we need to strengthen in January, and that sort of squad depth is definitely one, I think, as well as another striker to keep Lewis on his toes or to take some of the pressure off Lewis, I think is important as well. But with some of the guys that go down with, I'm going to name him, shame him. Anthony Chester McCabe said he doesn't want to go up because we're not ready to go up. We haven't got the side to go up. And we all said to him, you know what, Anthony, when we're sat on Wembley Way in that pub and we'll go, you said you didn't want to go up, you don't want to be here. And I think obviously we did, if we did get promoted, you would presume that there'd be a lot of player movement in and out. And you did definitely need to. But the players are stepping up, and the players have come back into the foreground that had been almost disregarded, like Cafu and Colback, and the change. Although Yates has been playing, the change in his form and so on, and so it's exciting times, isn't it? I think, but we could definitely do with more strength and depth, because I think if we're seeing Premier League games get cancelled for COVID, aren't we, and rescheduled. So I reckon it's possible that we might get to a situation where game postponed and then teams are playing 2 or 3 games a week at some point. And can Lewis grab and play that number of games in a week? The manager seems to like to rest him every now and again, doesn't he? And I don't have much faith in Lyle Taylor as a backup centre forward, to be honest, at all. So I think for that reason alone, we need a bit more squad depth and quality squad depth. And there's been a few that's been talked about in the papers, haven't there? The American striker from the Major Soccer, and somebody at Arsenal.
Norwich, Brentford.
And one of the best things that Dane Murphy did at Barnsley was his recruitment, wasn't it? And that sort of recruitment of players that other people aren't looking at. And then by the time we finished with them, they were really going on to bigger and better things for Barnsley, which, to be fair, it's not difficult, is it? But they were going on to bigger clubs, or they're getting bigger contracts, or going back to their parent clubs, in hot form. So that's a confidence fit as well, I think, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and I mean it'd be a second transfer window with him. First one with Cooper, so. And I think maybe said in the summer as well, they're going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows to embed it what he wants to do.
Because it's the type of player and the mentality of the player they talk about a lot, isn't it, as well? And I think it'd be nice to not have such a high player turnover, and it'd be nice it felt like we invested in a lot of old unfit players, a couple of summers ago. Your Harry Arters and so on. So it's sort of good to be looking at. It feels good to be looking at hungry, pacey players that that want to play and want to drive their careers on as well. And hopefully they can do that at Forest.
Hopefully we do, actually, with that.
Yeah.
What's your scoreline would be for Saturday?
I am gonna say 3-1. I'm feeling confident at 3-1. I think we'll be 3-0 up. We'll let one in late at the end, but we score so many, we create so many chances now. It doesn't matter when we concede a late goal. Whereas, in the Sabres last season, where we got done by those late goals, didn't we? That really made a difference to our playoff campaign. And a lot of people pointed fingers at the defense, but really, I think it's like if we'd have scored more goals, those late goals wouldn't have made a difference. If we'd have tucked away those chances that we had, Joe Worrell got a lot of grief for giving away the free kick against Derby that they scored from. But Lewis Grabban missed a hatful of chances, and Alex missed a hatful of chances, and if we can be, create more, score more, those last minute goals won't make any difference to us. Bryce will be unhappy, but that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd like to say thank you from Max for coming on.
You're welcome. Lovely to see you, and come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Reds.